I joined because I just love being in a team where everybody kind of has the same likes and differences, because we all kind of are nerdy and like to game and have fun.
I believe in STEM. I think it's great for kids. It's hands-on. It teaches them how to problem solve.
I want to be a robotics engineer when I grow up, and I feel like this will give me a good thing to put on my college application, and B, will give me a good jump start on programming and building robots.
Hello, and welcome to Ladies of the Roundtable, or LORT Live, episode 62, with our guest, Rachel Moore. Welcome,
Hello.
Rachel.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. And if you are new to the table, you're seeing some unfamiliar faces, namely Tiffany. Hey,
Hi.
Tiff.
Hello.
Tiffany has joined the roundtable fold. We have rotated our table one more time, spin the wheel, and look who pops up. Toxic Tiff. And of course, partner in crime, Miss Pixie. Welcome to Friday night, where we're at every week. And of course, me, Shrivasta, or Carmen, whichever you want to call me. And we are back with producer Ian back there in the background doing the thing for us. So everybody in chat, welcome. To you regulars, thank you again for coming out. We will throw up our hashtag for questions for Rachel in about 1 or 2 minutes. I think this week I'm going to go back to Pixie with the hashtag. So you think about that and we'll come back to you. What's the hashtag going to be for Rachel? If you are not familiar with the format of the show, this is an all-female show. So if you want to flip the channel right now, now's the time to do it. Because we're going to talk about whatever it is we want, and we're not going to show you our boobs. All right, so go ahead. All right, the rest of you, thanks for staying. We're glad to have you. And Pixie, I'm loving the ponytail. I mean, it's awesome tonight. It's looking good, girlfriend.
Thanks.
I'm gonna start with asking you guys a question for the week. We started this last show. I'm gonna go with Rachel first. I want to know, what was that one thing this week that was the most frustrating for you, and you just threw your hands up in the air and said, "Just F it, man. I'm gone. I just can't this week."
Honestly, it's probably been all the drama surrounding harassment at cons. It made me stay off of social media for a while because I think I might be a little bit too opinionated on that topic. So I was like, I should probably just be quiet and go play The Witcher instead. And that is what I did.
Hey, well, you're at the right table. I have to say.
We all have some opinions.
What about you, Tiff? What was it for you this week?
This week on the internet, like Rachel said, it's been a really crazy week online. Actually, I've had a really good week. Nothing too crazy besides like internet drama, but that's like whatever. Real life stuff has been pretty great. I had my art show this past weekend, so that went really well. It's super successful, and I've been floating on by. It's been good.
That does sound like an awesome week. You're so high from last weekend. You're
I
like,
am. It's
woo!
great. It's like people are still buying my stuff, so it's like really rad. Nobody like I'm like, oh, you want to buy like my paintings? Cool, let's do that. So it's been cool.
What about you, Miss Pixie?
Real life is um it's just bullshit. So my uncle got in a wreck today. I get to drive down to the hospital, which is gonna be like a 6-hour drive after the show tonight. So that's gonna be really fun. Basically, I'm going to be chugging rock stars every 30 seconds. So that's at least gonna be kind of fun. But I started watching Orange is the New Black, which
Awesome.
I have to say, I should have started watching it way sooner.
I told you.
But I'm kind of one of those people that I want to sit and watch all of it in like one giant sitting.
Oh, you're
So it's
binge
kind of
watcher.
great. Yeah, because I have like, 2 seasons, and then June 12th, I think it is, I get the third one. So I'm very excited.
Well, if we didn't have Netflix in our life or Hulu, I don't know what we would do because those cable
Yeah.
cutters are like, yes, we love binge watching. It's the way to go. I think that there was actually somebody did a survey or some statistics and said, over 65% of TV watchers are binge watchers nowadays because we watch everything on the internet. And I'm okay with that. I'm good. For me, my craptastic highlight for the week was actually being gracious enough today because it was National Donut Day to drive extra early to my local Krispy Kremes, because if you never had a warm Krispy Kreme donut, your life has not been complete. To
Agreed.
get 2 dozen donuts to take to work. I get to work and the stampede of people because I had donuts occurred that I can't get to my desk to clock in, so I was 4 minutes late because I brought donuts. I was like, this isn't fair. This isn't fair. So I had to sweet talk my boss. I'm like, I'll give you 2 donuts if you fix my time card. So that was, it took the high out of my Friday. I was like, man, I had a nice warm sugar donut, and then, but other than that, it's the weekend. It's Friday. Everybody in chat, throw your glasses up because we made it to Friday. Thanks for joining us. So that brings us to our lovely guest, Miss Rachel. Rachel, if you don't know and you've been living under a rock, she's a jack of all trades, does all kinds of things. Not only does she a YouTuber, a Twitch streamer, plays every kind of console or device that has games on it, but also cosplays, right?
Mm-hmm.
And dabbles in game development. Am I correct?
Yeah.
See? A little bit of everything. She's a Renaissance woman. That's why she's at our table.
Thank you.
We have some questions we're going to throw at you. And anytime, you have your own questions for us, you can throw them right back. I think we're going to start with Tiff tonight, and she's going to ask you her first question.
All right, cool. So, so I was watching some of your YouTube videos, and the one that, I know it's lame, but it stood out a lot for me, was, the tour of your apartment, because it has a lot of really nerdy, cool stuff in it, and, I have a bunch of stuff in my apartment, so much so I also have things, on top of the refrigerator that don't belong there. So one of my things that I wanted to ask you was, what was, your favorite thing in your collection? And then also, what one has the best story to it?
I'd probably say my all-time favorite is my Purba Dagger from Uncharted 2, because that one's really hard to find. There was only a certain amount made, and I don't think it was ever actually sold in stores. I think maybe there's only 100, maybe 200 that were made. So that's my baby. No one touches that one. The one with the best story is probably some of my Star Wars toys were my dad's, and that's how I got into collecting action figures. Was my dad kind of got me started, and the older I got, the more he trusted me with his classic and original Star Wars toys. So I think those those probably have the best story behind them because it's my dad.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's super cute. I like get really attached to stuff with it. It's like, oh, my dad gave it to me because my dad actually got me into gaming and stuff
Yeah.
too. So it's really fun. And then I have other question, just really quick, about how much. I know you go to like cons and stuff, and I know you have like plans for this weekend. So on average, how much are you doing a year?
I probably every year I'm adding like maybe 2 or 3 more. So I'd say probably the minimum has been about 6 a year, which I think I'm over that now. I think I might be doing closer to 9 or 10.
Wow, that sounds
That's
like a lot of
busy
fun.
time. Yes.
It's a super busy time.
Yeah, yeah, and they're all like bottlenecked into the smallest amount of time. I think in
And
July, almost every weekend there's another con. So it all just kind of right in the middle of the summer.
do you have a geeky suitcase that you take with you, like C3 or R2D2 suitcase? Everybody's
Oh,
got
yes.
something. They're just yeah, that's what I thought.
I have
Oh, man.
R2D2. I have a Darth Vader one that when I roll it, the wheels light up red. And then I have the Game Boy one that looks like it's a carry-on, but it looks like a Game Boy system.
Oh, that's awesome.
It sounds adorable.
Ooh. So, Pixie, did you decide what our question hashtag is going to be for tonight?
Yeah, we're gonna do hashtag Bewitched.
All right.
Because we
That's-
love Rachel here, and she has bewitched us on this amazing and fine show. So that is going to be our hashtag for any and all questions.
Oh, I like that.
So you heard it. If you want to ask a question, then you're going to type hashtag bewitched prior to your question so we can keep tabs on you. And then, Tiffany, if you will throw that out on the Twitter so we can get some live tweet questions as well coming in. And we're going to keep it rolling. I'm going to go next just for funsies. Like I mentioned before, you play games across all platforms. Whether it be PC, console, handheld games, probably some Facebook games like the rest of us in phones. What is your preference? Do you have something that, you always go back to, like a console? And if so, what is the game that is your go-to game when you're just having a sick day?
It used to be, well, in the last generation, it was Xbox 360. That was like my favorite system. So I'm still kind of playing a lot of more on Xbox stuff because I love those achievements. But the Xbox One hasn't really hit it for me so far. I think that system has so many problems. It's ridiculous. But I think my main love would have to probably be going back to the N64. You can plug the N64 in and basically give me just about any game, and I will be very, very happy. It's probably the system that I've got most of my bestest memories from. So yeah, that's probably the one.
I have to say that I get what you're saying about the N64 because I just found in storage my Atari 2600 missing one controller.
Nice.
I'm looking for that one controller because I want to bust it out and get my kid, who's going to probably look at me like, what? And I have the ET game, so she's probably going to be like, what? I don't play that. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is no fun. So I can't wait to get that sucker out and just kind of go back in time. And she'll laugh, but I'm going to be like, this is awesome.
Yes, I know.
All I
exactly.
needed was a GoPro to go with that, and I'd be set for a while.
Uh-huh.
Pixie, any chat questions yet? Oh, you muted yourself, I think, because we can't hear you.
I did.
There you are.
I'm dumb. Herp-a-derp-a-derp. Sometimes I'm just I'm a little bit special. So Brad Cal wants to know officially why isn't Zombie a guest yet? And so here's the reason why we don't have zombies on this panel. Because I am horrifically ambulothanophobic, and I'm pretty sure I would pee my pants.
Just so you know, Zombie. It's just not in the cards, buddy.
It's just not.
Oh, man. It's not going to happen for you. Take those crunch wraps and just cry in the wrapper, man. This is yours for you.
Oh, God.
Pixie, you got a question for Rachel?
So what would you say is your absolute favorite game of all time?
I always have a hard time answering that because there's like I have my favorite games ever for different reasons. Um, so I guess I'd say probably my top three would be um, Bioshock One. I gotta go with Borderlands 2, and I want to say Uncharted, but then part of me is really in the mood for Eternal Darkness, so I kind of want to say that as well. But then talking about Nintendo, I want to say Mario 64. So I don't know. That one's a toss up.
Well, you've just made a friend for life in Pixie because she's a Bioshock. I don't even know what to call it because it goes beyond obsessive behavior.
Yeah.
So you two have now
I have
become.
it permanently tattooed on my body.
Oh, if I was not terrified of needles, yeah, I think Bioshock it was perfection in a video game. I loved it.
Yeah, I can't even touch where her head is at right now. Just
It's so good. It's
Yeah.
just so good.
I think in this house we've played through. I can't tell you how many times. And I tried to get my kid to play through it, but it's too scary for her at the moment. But
Yeah. It's
it's
pretty scary.
I really wish they would do like a. That's one of the ones I was thinking that they really should do an HD remake for since they keep doing all these HD remakes. I'm like, Bioshock needs to be one of those games because I would
Agreed.
play it all over again.
Agreed.
I loved it, and I want to see it look even prettier than it did before.
Yeah.
And I love watching it. Watching someone else play it
I
even
know.
is like one of the best things. And as far as Borderlands, well, we all know how I feel about that. Oh my gosh, it's a compulsive behavior. If I could have it tattooed on my body, I would. But having a teenager, I'm not gonna go there right now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love me some Borderlands. All the way around. Bad parenting, if you will. I've played it with my child, language and all. But that's a great game. Yo, it's Bonks in the house. Imagine that, guys. There she is. Oh,
You
Rita's
should have
so
seen her
sorry.
at E3. Yeah. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure that she tried to make out with
yeah, it was a
anything
little mess at
that was
E3.
Borderlands.
It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, especially that giant handsome Jack statue. I
Yeah,
really
oh
want
yeah.
that in my house.
Man, so my question to you, I have another question that, you were talking about the internet and being away from it this week because of there's drama. But of course, I have to ask, because we are all about diversity in gaming. We're trying to, push our mission statement with equality for all gamers. That includes men, both sexes. And if you're stuck in the middle, you too. We're not judging. Whatever you want to or don't want to identify, we're okay with that. We're not one to add labels. But my question to you is, um, there's obviously a growing populace of female gamers. And it's become more prevalent that we are here. We're not going anywhere. We've probably been there all along. But people just didn't figure. Guys were like, we're not looking at you. But now that we're competitive, here we are. And there seems to be still a lot of trolling or unequal treatment by our male counterparts. And have you ever experienced that yourself? And how do you deal with it in your Twitch channel?
Honestly, not really. If I do get pushback from being a female gamer, it's actually from other females. Usually from guys, not much at all. I'll get the YouTube comments where it's, why aren't you in your kitchen and stuff? But really just kind of take that for a grain of salt because I'm not going to, I'm not trying to game for anybody else. I'm doing it because I love it and I don't need to prove myself to anybody that wants me to. So it really just doesn't bother me. And I really I stand by thinking that we're never going to be treated equally if we're the ones constantly talking about why we aren't equal. So I just kind of let it all go. If someone wants to judge me, they can judge me. I'm not doing it for their satisfaction. I'm doing it for myself.
Pixie, I'm gonna let you pick that up.
So obviously there have been some things going around. Cosplay does not equal consent, things like that. So what are some of the like most irritating things that you face when you do cosplay?
Um, I think the thing I hate the most is when people try to take your pictures while you're eating. Like, all right, I'm in cosplay and I have purposely like put my back towards everybody so I can just try to eat my Starbucks blueberry muffin. And they will just come up and try to take your picture while you're eating. It's like, hey, can you wait? Or at least ask me and I will put my blueberry muffin down and I will stand up and I will pose for you. Just nobody looks good while they're stuffing something into their mouth.
They don't even ask. They're just like click, 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 click.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the most annoying thing.
Have you ever experienced watching someone else have an issue, whether it be cosplay or just general rudeness towards the opposite sex at conventions, and watch people just stand by and just do nothing, just kind of like, oh, that's normal, it's okay, and no one says anything? And if so, are you the one to step up and say something, or are you, it's just like everyone else, you don't want to be involved, you're just kind of, all right, well, I'm over here on my side of the fence, I don't want to get myself into trouble?
I honestly have never witnessed anything. I've never witnessed someone being sexually harassed. I've never witnessed someone being talked down to as a cosplayer. I've never witnessed or been a part of any of that. I really disagree with the cosplay is not consent phrasing, the wording of it. I think it's actually perpetuating negative behavior, if anything. So I've never stepped in because I've never witnessed it.
Can you elaborate on that for me?
What I don't like about cosplay is not consent.
Yes.
I think the wording of it is terrible. I think saying cosplay is not consent is almost like saying that we've got a problem with someone, that people are going around raping the cosplayers and we've got to tell them, don't be raping the cosplayers. It's ridiculous. I think it's offensive to con goers to say, hey guys, cosplay is not consent, stop being pervs. Instead of just saying, hey guys, just be respectful to people, whether in cosplay or they're not in cosplay. Just be respectful. I've had lots of I've been a con goer and I've been a cosplayer. I've been invited to cons, or I've gone just as myself, or I've gone not even in cosplay and just as me. And I still find that just the wording and the overall message that cosplay is not consent is a little over the top. It's a little ridiculous. And it should just be a message of be respectful, everybody. I get more pervy comments or just aggressiveness in day-to-day life, going to the mall, going to the grocery store, walking through a parking lot, than I have ever experienced at a con.
I think it's one of those things where when I first saw something that says cosplay is not consent, like I was like, what the hell is this about? So I started looking it up. I'm like, okay, I get it. Some people just don't know the rules, and they don't know that just because they're dressed up as a character doesn't mean that you get to treat them as such characters, where you're sitting at home and you're treating that character as, obviously eye candy or whatever you do at home. But I feel like when somebody gets to see them in person, they might just get a little bit too excited and they don't realize that, oh, this is a person. This isn't, part of being at home and stuff. I kind of agree with you where you're like, you shouldn't be out doing this stuff. You shouldn't have to reprimand people for that. You shouldn't have to tell them that. But we also live in a day and age where you kind of do, because we're trying to fix that, I think, right now as a society. Over the past couple of years, I mean, you obviously, like we were saying earlier, feminist is such a hard word to deal with because there's negatives and there's positives. But I also feel like that's the same with cosplay is not consent, because you don't want to have to say that to people. But some people need that because they're gross like chin beards and they don't understand the way the world works. But yeah, I feel on both sides of the fence for that one. So I've never been a part of anyone where everyone's trying to inappropriately touch me when I'm in cosplay. So I've never dealt with that. I've always dealt with people who are really respectful. And I've seen it happen to other people, but usually it's at the time where I'm mixed in with something else and they're going a different direction, so I can't say anything. Because trust me, I would say something. If I saw something happening, I'd be like, you need to stop it because this is really ridiculous. I mean, and just like you said, going to work or walking to the street, like, you do get that a lot. I mean, I get that at work, and it's hard to bite my tongue at work and be like, oh, buddy, if we were in the street, I would have a whole mouthful for you. So it's one of those things that I think we deal with as women, both in and out of the cosplay world. And I feel like at cons, it's just easier to post a sign because that's a spot where everyone knows that they're going to read this sign and they don't want to have that happen at their convention. But I mean, we also have a lot of things like MomoCon, that whole ordeal that was ridiculous. But that's a whole other subject that I'll just kind of leave at that. That's my 2 cents.
I mean, I think there are some issues with this as a whole, though. So like, for instance, it is not just women who get harassed in cosplay. It's not. It happens to men too. And unfortunately, when men complain about it, men are perceived as being pussies or unmanly, and that is not okay. That is never okay. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl. If you are sexually harassed, you should have recourse 100% of the time. And I think that's a huge issue. I also think it's an issue because people have very, very, very different definitions of personal space based on culture. If you look at the Japanese culture, they like don't even touch other people in a lot of cases. In America, you know, you have people who are very like touchy-feely with their friends. You have people who don't understand because of things like autism spectral disorders. And so I think it needs more discussion than just being tagged as cosplay is not consent. So I definitely agree with Rachel.
I hate that, like, even Gunblade was saying in chat that it's made him even more nervous to come up to cosplayers. And I hear that so much at cons now, that people are more terrified to come up and ask for pictures with cosplayers than they were before. They were just nervous before, and now they're actually scared, because there is a difference between their idea of what is too much, personal contact. But I don't think a con goer should ever be scared of going up to a cosplayer because they're scared that maybe that cosplayer will scream sexual harassment if they try to put their arm around their shoulder. And I do know some cosplay females that think that if a person puts an arm around their shoulder for a photo, that is invading their personal space. And that upsets me because every hobby, job, everything you do kind of comes with the pros and cons. And I'm just a little bit against the mindset of I'm going to cosplay at a con and take lots of pictures with people, but if someone touches my shoulder, I'm going to scream sexual harassment. That frustrates me because it does put a very negative thing into everybody's mind, and I think it perpetuates this feeling that there is a gross amount of sexual harassment at cons, where I really don't think it's as big as a problem as a lot of people make it out to be at all.
And I want to preface that comment by saying that, and then that's your personal opinion from your point of view, and we're not negating anyone else's opinion that happens to be a con goer or another cosplayer or someone else in the industry.
Right.
It's something that I think that each of us have our own personal feelings about it because we've all experienced conventions in a different way. We're all different people. And let me flip the switch for a second and ask you guys at the table, from a business standpoint, if I'm the convention owner, do you think it's fair? Do you think it's okay for me to protect myself and be putting those signs up or making the disclaimer on my website or having someone sign a waiver, or if they're coming in as a cosplayer stating that they're not going to sue me because someone put their arm around me and took a picture, or someone else at the convention has had bad behavior and it's going to come back on me when I can't control thousands of people at a convention. So let's start with Rachel on that one.
Not at all. It's actually kind of sad that it's even come to that. A con is here as a con creator. You are creating this place for a community of people to come together, and you're letting people sell things, buy things, or just somewhere that people can go and celebrate a like fandom. If something happens that someone doesn't like at that con, yes, you need to supply some type of security that these people will feel safe there. But overall, if something happens, I don't think the blame should come onto you as long as you've taken the necessary precautions. It's not a con's job to make sure you have the best time possible. And that's not the con's job. They're there, they're doing what they need to do. They've set up all the correct security parameters. Things happen everywhere. Everywhere you go, you're taking a risk at something. And you just can't go around and place the blame at the person that you see as soon as it happens or where you're at. You just can't. If I get sexually harassed at a grocery store, I'm not going to blame the grocery store chain for it. Not at all. That's ridiculous. So, no, I don't think... I think it's actually pretty sad that it's come to that where would want people to sign something saying, look, if you have a sucky time, you can't sue us.
If you guys want to throw questions up in chat or make some comments, don't forget that hashtag is Pixie.
It's hashtag Bewitched.
Hashtag Bewitched. I'm going to throw it to Pixie, then we'll go back to Tiff.
So the thing is conventions basically only have to provide you with like the reasonable expectation of security. They do that. I don't think they have to post these. I think they do it because they feel like it's something that other people want and that other people feel is very common. I don't witness a whole lot of this going on. I actually witness more men harassed in cosplay than I do women, oddly enough, if we want to go there.
Girls are more aggressive, totally.
Yeah, but on top of that, the thing is essentially a convention works like 4chan. They're a facilitator, but they don't have any of the content. Like, that is not theirs. So legally, like, you can sue a convention, but you have to prove that they didn't provide for, like, your reasonable expectations of safety, which means that, they have to have a certain number of security guards per person. They have to, post at certain doors and all these exits, like, and they almost always do. So suing a convention, if you want to sue a convention because you got sexually harassed, go for it. I'm going to suggest that it's probably a waste of money, and that you would be better off saving your money and spending it on Steam.
Yeah.
But it's something that I personally think is over-sensationalizing an issue that, while does occur, is going to occur regardless, because there are so many different factors that you have to take into account. Now, I'm not saying that, like, if a guy walks up and just, like, full frontal gropes, that's okay. I'm not saying that's not, but I'm saying if someone, accidentally, like, is walking by you and swipes your butt because they're swinging their arms, like, that is not sexual harassment. That's an accident.
Right. Yeah.
That's like, there's not enough room for this person to swing their arms. And I think sometimes things like that are taken as sexual harassment, and I disagree with that. And I think it makes people who are sexually harassed really upset, and it takes away from what really matters. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I need to stop.
Takes away from my fun. Go ahead, Tiff.
Sorry.
I'm right with you guys. I don't think it's up to the convention to make sure that, like Rachel said, that they're having a great time, and that if something was to happen at the convention, just like anywhere else, if something was to happen, that would be something you would take up with the authorities, with the police. Now, I would like to see, of course, security guards and stuff like that, and people that are staff. Like, I've gone to a couple conventions, and you can't tell where the staff is. As long as you make sure that you have staff members that are viewable, that is, I think, a very important thing. And to make sure that your guests know that it's okay to go talk to them. It's okay to go see them for whatever you may need, and to have multiples set around all throughout the con. So what, like Dallas Comic Con, I go there, I go to the Dallas Fan Days, I go to those. Those guys, you can tell where the staff is everywhere. They always have bright t-shirts. They're really friendly. If you just want to know where the bathroom's at, they'll tell you. So I don't think it's up to the convention to say that they're going to protect you against stuff. Of course, you want to be smart about things. Don't, go to somebody's hotel room and expect something to not happen after you guys have gone to the bar and say stuff. Like that's a whole other story. That's everyday stuff. I still feel like the signs are a good thing for some people. It's not a good thing for all people. I like knowing that sometimes stuff like that is up because it does put an awareness out for it, because it's something that somebody may not know. They may not know that people have this problem with cosplay, but it's still up for debate for that part. But I do not believe that the con should be responsible for anything that happens at the con, unless, like, I don't know, a stage fell down. That's the con's fault,
Right.
But you can't predict what people are going to do. You can't.
Another thing that I think a lot of cosplayers should think about is, before I go to a con and decide what I'm going to cosplay at that con, I do like to look into the con, like how many times has this con happened? How big is it? What city is it in? Because a lot of times, if it is in a smaller city and it is the con's first time of ever happening, I might understand that these people that are coming and the con goers that are going might not be that used to the convention scene. So I will actually plan more conservative cosplays. I'm not saying that if you're going to a cosplay in essentially a bikini that you should expect to be sexually harassed or it's your fault for wearing what you're wearing. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, no one's going to protect you like you will. And doing some research into a con and just kind of expecting what kind of vibe that con might have and then planning your outfits accordingly can actually help a lot.
With that being said, I think if you are going to go to a con that is not as big or not as popular, try to get with some of the staff afterward and give positive feedback. If something was wrong, of course, you could still present that in a positive manner. Be like, hey, I really enjoyed your con, but this, and this was wrong about it, or this didn't go right. And maybe if you did this for next year, I would consider coming back, or I would tell more friends, or it would just make the con a lot better and a lot safer and a better, more fun place to be. I think constructive criticism is very, very good for smaller conventions and ones that are just starting up, because they don't make it if they don't have positive feedback, whether it be to fix something or to reinforce something.
And talk to the con first. Don't use your social media as your first place to go to complain about a harassment. Go to the con first.
Yeah, don't rant about it online and then expect for something to get fixed. No, go to those people and that's what they're there for. They want to know those things.
Yeah.
So we've got some Twitter questions, we've got some chat questions, but before we go there, I'm just going to chime in because I believe that my 2 cents is warranted here. I believe everything that you each have said, you pretty much took the words out of my mouth, but I want to back up just a little bit and go back to how I think we all feel at the table that a lot of the harassment that we experience is not from the male sex, it is from other women in the industry and or just women in general when we go to places. For example, going to a convention, if you've seen this before when you're there and it's been prevalent online, where you have someone who is not the perfect womanly shape that you're used to seeing in a Sports Illustrated magazine or on, Kim Kardashian's ass is not my ass. And I go to a convention and I do my best cosplay that I could possibly do. It might not be up to Raychul's standards, but I'm not crafty like that. And I get the gumption to go and I do the best that I can do and I'm proud of what I made. But yet I go and I get all this flack from other women. What
You're
the hell is that
fat,
all
bitch.
about?
I'm not fat. I'm fluffy.
I mean,
out.
I think that in itself is something that, of course, we here try to combat. Where we want to be able to say, hey, you know what? I'm just going to tell you that maybe you could have made this a little bit different to look better, because maybe I'm not the best at cosplay. Raychul may give me some pointers because, maybe I had something hanging out that shouldn't be hanging out, or whatever the case may be. But you don't have to come at me all aggressive and be hateful because I'm big and beautiful, or I got more, boobs than you do, or whatever the case may be. Why is it that everyone feels they have to compete with each other? I just don't get that mentality. And normally what happens, in my experience, and I'm speaking for myself, is normally that woman that is aggressive with me has some kind of insecurity or something that happened in her past that now she's passed that on to me and projected that to me. I could have just said hello to her and I'm getting the claws out. So, I mean, what do you guys think? I'm gonna go to Tiffany first. I'm gonna go to Rachel. I'm gonna go to Pixie. The question. Go ahead.
Yeah, what was the question again?
There was a question in there. The question was, if you've experienced that, how do you, especially being a parent, combat that in your everyday life, let alone your professional life, to be able to set the example?
I haven't really had a chance to come across that. I feel like that comes along with the conversation of body issues and what somebody's comfortable with. And, being a mom, you go up and down, your body changes, things come and things go away, and you get sad about it, and then you're super jealous of somebody else. And those are natural feelings to have, of course. And I get jealous of that stuff all the time. I'm like, oh, I don't look as pretty as her in that picture. But then I'm like, wait, back up. That's Photoshop, and that's a photo, and that's not real life, Or if you see somebody in real life, I'm like, oh my God, she's so pretty, and like I get awestruck. Like if I see a super beautiful person in person, like a woman, I'm like, oh, I can't talk to you because you're so much prettier than me, and it's nerve-wracking. So I get it, but at the same time, like you said, some people go around it the wrong way, and they get really mean and nasty because they just don't know how to handle their own feelings. So it's a weird thing that I battle all the time. Is I battle, how I feel about my body and about myself. I just try really hard to be super positive about it, and I don't bash anybody for what they look like, because what they look like is important to them. I'm not going to sit there and be like, well, you look like this, and that's not what I want you to look like. So I think it's really important to be respectful.
And Rachel, since you have a little bit larger platform or larger reach than we do, so I think it's very important for you to add, your opinion in here, because a lot of people look up to you and watch what you're doing, believe it or not, and want to emulate what you're doing, because there's a lot of people out there who maybe haven't tried cosplay that want to, or aren't at the level that you are. So go for it.
I think how to combat that kind of stuff is the age-old question. I think it's something that women have been dealing with since there's been 2 women on Earth. You deal with it in elementary school all the way until like the day you die. You deal with other girls just bashing you down for the most ridiculous things. I deal with it by just staying at home by myself. Really, I do. It is really hard because I do all the time look at other girls' cosplays and stuff, and I'm like, oh, she did this so wonderfully, and I'm about to do that same costume. This is the worst idea ever. But I just kind of have to put blinders on, because if I focus on that kind of stuff, I'll never feel good about myself. So yeah, I don't know. I just always try to be really positive, especially with around other females. Try to be really positive and point out the things that I love about them. Because if you point out things that you love about them, or even actually show how insecure you are and be like, oh my gosh, I wish my hair was as full as yours. It's so beautiful. Look at mine. It's so flat. It makes them feel good. It brings them up and makes them stop focusing on the things that they don't like about themselves and focus on the things that they do like about themselves. I guess.
Pixie.
I don't know. I get nervous around girls.
There are a lot of ways you combat it. First of all, like, love the shit out of yourself. Seriously, do it. And then on top of that, like, just drive your car until it's out of fucks, and then don't give any.
That's our motto.
Like there are tons of times where I can't tell you how many times I have been called fat throughout my entire life. And my responses are always, bitch, I'm not fat, I'm fluffy, or I may be fat, but I've got really big tits. Like,
I love that.
Just don't give a fuck. And that's kind of one of the best ways. Because ultimately, nobody can have confidence in you. You have to have confidence in yourself. And you have to really push that, because, nobody's gonna make you happy. You have to be happy with yourself, and that's ultimately what matters, because in the end, we all die alone.
I agree with that 110%. With being happy with yourself is something that I've dealt with for a really long time. I used to, be upset and stuff. You're a kid, you don't know what's going on, and you just don't, you hate everything. And the moment I kind of, I was in the punk music and stuff when I was a kid, and I discovered PMA from H2O, and I'm like, positive mental attitude. And once you start thinking about things in a positive manner, whether it be yourself or your life or anything else, I apply PMA to pretty much anything that I can, and like even work or like stressful situations, and you get through it. And the more negative you stay about stuff, the more negative thoughts you have, and the more you hate things, and it's those people are toxic in your life. And
Totally.
it's once you start to learn to break away from those types of people and ignore them, your life just becomes 110% better. And it's one of those things that just I fully believe in. You have to love yourself before anything else.
And ultimately, life is basically it's all about improving yourself. It's about improving your quality of life, your physical attributes, your emotional attributes, being a good partner. All of these things are things that you do to improve in your own life. And there are other things you can do. You can lift, you can read, you can like manage frame. Like all of these things are things you can do. You can be a pickup artist for all I give a crap, because trust me, nothing's gonna help you like getting some poon.
So since Pixie's brought that up and we're segueing in, I'm gonna pick it up for you. We at the round table, we are advocates for STEM education, or STEAM, which is, Tiffany, what's the acronym?
Oh my gosh, you caught me off guard because I was giggling.
Because you were giggling, yeah.
Sorry. She was talking about things and it made me giggle.
She's all blushing over there. Science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. And we are gearing up to put some events together to bring young kids and young adults like ourselves together to mentor some young kids who are maybe like we were when we were younger. We were introverted. I'm sorry. We were weird. We didn't know where we fit in. We were, punishing ourselves for feeling all these things and trying to find our way. But if we would have had somebody to hold our hand and say, you could be good at this, or try this, to give them some place to funnel all that emotion, who knows what they could do with all of that technology and learning. So with that being said, if you guys hit that follow button down there, you're helping support us and spread the message that we are advocates for STEM education, diversity, and equality, which means we just want stuff to be fair or close to it. We know that there's certain things that women can't do that men can do, and vice versa, like birth children. You're not going to be able to do it, guys. Not in my lifetime, anyway. So, hey, we'll help you out. You do the mowing the yard and some of that other stuff.
You lucky bastards.
Oh, man, I think we're moving on to the next topic because we are on a timeline for Pixie tonight. So, Pixie, let's go with your topic first. I know that this is going to make you some tears and maybe some emotional feelings coming up. And I'm going to warn everyone in chat right now, when Pixie gets excited, your rate holes are going to be on high alert. So you might want to turn your cans down just a little bit.
Volume down.
Just a little bit. Public service announcement. I'm trying to save your ears. So she can get a little loud.
I'll even move my mic further away from me, just so. Oh, it's scooching back. Stop. Stay. Infinite Crisis, the MOBA run by Turbine based on DC Comics, is officially shutting down in August. I would say I'm kind of sad. To be honest, I really love Icy. But unfortunately, I think a lot of us kind of knew this was coming. It's going to be really hard for anything to dethrone League or Dota, which is way better, by the way. What? I didn't say anything.
I didn't hear it either.
But, so it's going to the wayside. But this is something that really, really annoys me. A lot of games come out and they're new, and they're developed, like, let's talk about Dawn Gate, for instance. New MOBA in development, done by EA. completely trashed not long after because they realized it wasn't going to be the next League of Legends or Dota. And this is something that really irritates me. I hate it when games that I really like are shut down, or development is stopped on them, or corrections are no longer being put into them. It frustrates the living shit out of me. So how do you feel about it, Rachel?
I totally agree. I hate when, well, I mean, on both sides, I don't like either thing. I don't like when a game type is doing really well, so then every company is like, hey, let's hurry up and do just like this so that we can get in on that train. Because most of the time, those replicas come out and they kind of suck. But then I hate when games I do really like, I don't care if other people like them or not, and then they're just put away because they're not going to be the next big thing. One of my favorite RPGs ever was Kingdoms of Amalur: The Reckoning, and that whole company shut down. We barely got any DLC. I love that game, but it just didn't do as well as they wanted it to. So to them, it was a failure, but to me, it was not.
I have little to no opinion on Infinite Crisis. I tried more than once on Pixie's request. It was very, very bad. It was beyond sad. I just couldn't play that game. It was not my thing. And it was more entertaining watching me try to play it than anything else. So I had to move on. So for it to go away does not end my world. I'm sad to see that people are going to be laid off their job. There's going to be people, once again, shuffling the deck to try to figure out where they can pick up and move to another studio. And when this type of thing happens, is it hard for you to find employment somewhere else? Because, it leaves a negative mark on your resume, I would think. So I'm okay with it. It's good. I'll move on to something else. Never really touched it in the first place. But Tiffany.
Yeah, I never played it. I'm that alpha person that doesn't do PC games. I trust me, I tried League and I got basically almost banned the first time I played it because everyone was like, "You're trolling. Why are you pulling?" I'm like, "I'm not. I don't know what I'm doing." And it was in the training grounds.
I'm just
So
a noob.
I was like, you guys, I'm new. And they're like, "Stop it." And so it was like really crazy. And this was before it got like wicked huge. So it might be a little bit different now. But yeah, Infinite Crisis, I never played. I kind of stay away from those games. But as far as like games themselves, like stopping being in production and just kind of halting, it always sucks. Like you're saying, Kingdoms of Amalur was awesome. I loved that game. And when they shut that studio down, I was like, oh, shit. That was a great game. Like what happened? I mean, I sold hundreds of copies of that game. I work at a video game retailer and I sell games. And that was one that I sold a lot. So I tried.
Yeah.
You tried to help them out.
I was trying. I was like, you guys need to buy this game like right now.
So we've got a bunch of questions coming in. So let's roll into those. Let's get with Tiff. Let's go with your Twitter question from our friend Odin Omen, who's on Twitter all the time and keeping us live on Twitter with those Twitter questions.
He is.
Right. Oh my gosh, a lot. There it is. So he has a question for you, Rachel. Do you have a favorite con or city that you visit throughout the year?
Favorite con would probably be E3. It's not like, I know, like a regular Comic Con, but it's definitely the best thing I could do with my week out of the year. Like if I had to cancel every single con, but I could keep one, it'd definitely be E3. I wouldn't even have to think about it. I love it.
Awesome.
And then I like going, my favorite city would probably be any con in Florida near Disney World, because then I can have an excuse to go there afterwards.
Because if you didn't know, she's a Disney fanatic.
Yes. It's frightening.
Man, I think we have some chat questions. Pixie's drinking that Dr. Pepper there.
This stream brought to you by non-diet Dr. Pepper, but it is delicious. So, was there any game that you were anticipating but got canceled? The example given is Prey 2.
Yeah, there's that game that I can never remember the name of. Sony was making it and they announced it like 7 years ago. And oh God, it's got the giant Falcor rat
Oh,
dog
oh, oh,
bird
oh,
thing.
oh! What the hell was that one
We don't
called?
know if it's actually canceled, but they haven't
Oh,
talked about it since.
I forgot about that one. What were they calling that?
What is it called? I don't know, but that one with the little
That one.
boy. And he's like, look at the giant flying dog bird rat thing. And it was done by the
There's
Team
so many
Ico
promos that
people.
can be made from this whole conversation right now. Just the producer
Yeah.
mind is running. I'm like, oh, that rat boy thing, dog.
It flies in the air.
It just goes fish.
Okay. Here we
The
go.
Last
Here we
Guardian.
go.
The Last
Sony.
Guardian.
Yes,
He found
The
it.
Last Guardian.
That's it.
There we go.
That
Yeah.
one. I was waiting for that one too, and it's
Right,
just kinda
that deserves an Amazeballs. And you know what happens when I say Amazeballs? Shots
Shots,
for everyone.
shots,
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 yeah.
shots,
Throw them up, guys.
disappeared. Oh, I wasn't ready for shots. I have beer. That'll work.
Go for it.
Water, yeah.
Wow. Any other chat questions, ladies?
We have a couple more. Sorry, I have to scroll up. Scroll.
Catching that chat.
Who is your favorite villain in video games?
I have two. Handsome Jack, because he's super, super handsome, even though he's got the mask on. And I would love to take over Pandora with him, because he's evil and sexy. And then my other favorite bad guy is definitely Fontaine, because I love him, because he gets into your mind. You know, Atlas Fontaine from BioShock. I like bad guys that get into your mind and just jumble with it. Like bad guys that want to shoot you, you can always shoot them back, but if they get into your brain, you're done. Yeah.
It's like ghosts. You can never outrun them because they just run through walls.
Those bastards.
Exactly.
All right. Any more chat questions before I move on?
I think we
think
got
we're
one.
good. Oh, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, there's just one. Male Spy 007. How long has Rachel been cosplaying, and does she do it for a living?
Why, Mal? Have you been living under a rock? I mean, come on. Dude, you're a regular.
I would answer real quick. It's a quick answer.
All right.
Yeah, almost 10 years. Next, and we said tomorrow, but next year will be 10 years. So 2006.
And
do I do it for a living? I do. Yes, I make all my own costumes. And do I do it for a living? I don't know. That's a really hard thing to answer. I do a lot of things for a living, so it's part of it, but it's not only the thing I do for a living.
Here's an easy way to answer that question. Are you self-employed?
Yes.
There you go. She's an entrepreneur, Mal. She owns her own company. Respect the woman for her knowledge.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Pixie's pretty.
I'm such a lady.
She's so pretty. All right, so I think
I almost sang "Dude Looks Like a Lady," and then I realized what a big mistake that would be.
No, but you just segued us into Tiffany's topic.
Yeah, which is dude does look like a lady. So obviously, my topic today is Miss Caitlyn Jenner, which if you don't know who she was before, she was Mr. Bruce Jenner, who was an Olympian, and he's most commonly known as Kim and Khloe and all the Kardashians' dad. He just kind of sits on the couch, was like, whatever. But he came out, and he's a lady. He's a transgendered lady, and I think it's super awesome, and I love it, and it's totally amazing. I think it's really, total babe. Like, whoa, like, you were paying attention, those girls are putting their makeup on. Like, holy shit. But, like, I was watching the commercial because she's gonna have a show on E. But I was watching the commercial and she was going through, she's like, I'm so nervous about going out in public, like the first time being like a full lady, like so she felt, and I thought it was really cool. I think it's really disrespectful to still call her Bruce because that's not her name. That's not what she's requesting to be called by. I like to go by Tiff instead of Tiffany. So what's the difference?
That's not my name.
That's not my name. I think it's a really positive thing for this age. It's gotten a lot of toxic people out of my life via Facebook because they've been posting really nasty, negative things about it. And I'm like, cool. We don't need to be friends because I don't like your mindset. And some of them have been hurtful because it's been family members. And it's like, dude, come on. Like, it's your
What a way
family.
to
You're
find
trying to,
out who your friends really are.
yeah.
People don't like when others are happy.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing that I'm so excited about it is there's a person out there that is becoming who they want to be and they're so excited about it. And what I'm excited about is it is someone in the limelight. It is somebody out in the public. It is somebody out there that was like, "Hey, I'm going to do this." And we talked a lot about body image earlier in our conversation. When you have somebody that's really uncomfortable with themselves and they don't know where to look and they don't know where to go and they don't have role models. We have two amazing role models right now. The girl on Orange is the New Black, I forget her name, but she is also fabulous. And now we have Caitlyn Jenner. And I think that's a really great thing, not in just the community as a whole for, the world. I think it's a great thing for the community in gaming as well, because we also have different people that are trying to make a difference and stand out and be themselves and have the world be more accepting. I just think it's a really big deal. I think it's an amazing time that we're living in. And Caitlyn is more than welcome to sit at our table because she is beautiful and she is strong. And I'm very excited for her. And I just think it's something that I really want to express because I've been dealing with it a lot lately. When I was talking about earlier about bad things in the week, about negative stuff on the internet, it's kind of what I've been dealing with, like my friends being negative, and I'm like, I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to be your friend if you want to be this way. I don't need you in my life. If you think that somebody else somewhere, Laverne Cox, that was her name, yes. Somebody else on this planet is going to wear a skirt instead of jeans, and that's going to like piss you off. The hell is your problem? Like, whatever, just I don't need you in my life, but yeah, I think it's a great thing, and I think it's great, and that's my topic. So if you have any feelings, or I think it's one of those things too that I think it's a discussion that needs to be had for some people because they're uncomfortable with it, and we need to make some people uncomfortable to make some changes the way society is. So I don't really have a question. It's more of a statement on all the things. Just kind of want to feel out everyone else's feelings on the whole thing.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, everybody being so mean about it online and stuff, like, dude, what's it have to do with you? So what if he now is a she who does it really matter to you? Does it change your life? Does it have any negative effect on you? No. Then quit bitching. That person is happy. They've made a choice, and they've been able to come out, and now they love themselves. Don't hate on someone for loving themselves. Don't hate on someone for being happy. Fuck off.
Right. I couldn't have said it any better. I'm moving on to Pixie.
Caitlyn Jenner has always been Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn Jenner was misassigned at birth. And that's how Caitlyn Jenner felt. I was born in the wrong body, and that's fine. It is not my place to fucking judge. Caitlyn Jenner is Caitlyn Jenner, and I could give two fucks. Good for her, but it doesn't affect me. So why the hell do I care? I don't really have a right to have a negative emotion over it. It doesn't affect me in my daily life. I don't sit here and, cry to myself that Caitlyn Jenner is Caitlyn Jenner now.
So
I have a question for you guys then. Have you all had the same experiences that I might have had? Have you seen some toxic people in your life that are just being really shitty about it? And then are you rethinking relationships with those people?
Oh, absolutely. She's Twitter. I mean, social media has allowed people to just completely show their ass even worse than they ever did in person. And it's just the drama.
On, sister, preach it. Oh my God, take me to church.
The drama and how self-important social media has made people. It's just saddening. It's awful. So yeah, it has definitely made me question my friendships and who I want to have around me more.
I have to speak on behalf of the Jenner children. I'm not saying the Kardashian children, but say this is going to take some adjustment for some people. I'm not negating the people that are just ignorant and are blatantly hiding behind their keyboard or the internet to express hatred towards someone who has finally taken the courage to do something which none of us probably here could have done because we're not in that type of spotlight that she is. I mean, can you imagine having cameras on you all the time and being in that Kardashian family that the
That alone.
expectation is so high and you're still walking around like I am just not in my own skin and they're all beautiful and you want to be beautiful, you want to be you. And then you got, no offense, the wife that is just like, I am the end all be all to the world, you shall not shine. I want to speak about the kids because the kids are going through an adjustment, and if you've watched any of the media or read anything about what's going on, they are having a bit of a hard time. They're very supportive and understanding, but yet they've outright said that this is going to take some time for me to call what was my father, for all intents and purposes, because they're grown kids, Caitlyn. So there has to be some kind of leeway, some understanding with us and the general public that, like you said, Tiffany, she's asking to be identified as herself, her new name, her new, gender. But if you've lived with this person, grown up with this person, had them as your father in your life, you're going to slip and say dad or Bruce every once in a while. And that's not offensive in that manner. Even if you were friends with this person.
Yeah.
Um,
I agree with that.
So you need to.
I mean, it's like getting married and you have to change your last name. Like, you're gonna, or, when it turns 2016 or when it turned 2015, like, you always have that period of adjustment where, like, you write the wrong date or you write the wrong last name. Like, those things happen.
Yeah. And
the
when
issue
you
isn't like the adjustment. The issue is people who are just ignorant fuckwads living in goddamn mobile homes who want to run their fucking mouth off and say a bunch of bullshit that has nothing to do with them. Like, I'm sorry.
Man, I don't trust no man that wants to be no woman. That's what they sound like.
It's been so crazy. It's just been one of those things where I have transgendered friends, so it does take time to switch their pronouns, but they get it. They understand that it takes a little while sometimes, but I still think it's really great that some of these kids have a role model. Then there's not one, there's two, and regardless of what you think of it, they're there, and these old people that don't think that it's cool are gonna be dying soon. So blow. This is the new normal. This is what happens in like everyday life, and I think it's gonna be a great thing for a lot of kids coming up.
Yeah, I think we can all agree across the board that we're very supportive of Caitlyn and her decisions, and we're looking forward to see how happy she is in her new, way of life and her new way of thinking. Because if you watch anything, like I said, in the media, Bruce was very unhappy, very miserable, and now that Caitlyn, is here, I think we're going to see a lot more of who Caitlyn, and what she can do. I'm excited to see what goes on. There's going to be a lot of giving, because when someone really finds themselves, what happens? They're more open to other people. They're more expressive. They're more true to themselves. So there's going to be some great things, to watch. If you haven't followed the Twitter, I would suggest you go over and give it a follow. If you're going to follow just to troll and be hateful, you know what? What comes around goes around. So, do what you will. Just telling you.
Karma's a bitch.
Baby. All right. So, I'm gonna jump over to my topic. My topic is a little lighthearted, little fun. Now that we were digging deep in the trenches, I was kind of excited and a little bit disappointed to see today that the Video Game Hall of Fame, which is located in Rochester, New York, if you didn't know, there was one, there is, announced their 6 inductees list for the classic games. So, just like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, we have the Video Game Hall of Fame. I'm going to go over all 6 and get your guys' opinion of, do you like this list? Do you think someone else should have been on the list? Or do you give a shit? Like Pixie says, how many fucks were given today? So the list includes, I'm happy to say, Super Mario, original Nintendo, system, 1985 Super Mario. We're not talking about any Paper Mario or the new stuff that's come out, but Super Mario makes me happy. I think we're all happy with that. Tetris, which interestingly enough was a Soviet puzzle game coming out in 1984. I think that is a definite induction. That's a great one that should happen. Tetris kind of broke the mold for a lot of us. Pac-Man, of course, if it wasn't on there, there would be riots going on in the streets. Doom, interesting. PC players, you recognize that name, you know that IP very well. And of course, World of Warcraft, coming out in 2004. Other games that were on the list didn't make it, Sims and Minecraft. So that being said, what do you guys think about this list? Do you think that there were some other games that could be on there? And just so you guys know that the criteria for being in the Hall of Fame is the game has to be iconic, they have to have longevity, they have to have reached international boundaries with the IP, and also influenced other game design and kind of crossed over in the entertainment media for social media, pop culture, and society. So what do you think, Rach?
I'm confused. What a weird grouping of things to put on some list. You got Mario and World of Warcraft. And if this is a video game Hall of Fame, why wasn't Mario inducted in there as soon as they opened the doors? He should have actually been physically there at the opening. So that confuses me. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the list is. You've got Mario, Tetris, and Pac-Man, and World of Warcraft, but then you said that Minecraft didn't make it. Yeah, Doom. Then Minecraft didn't make it, and Minecraft is a newer game. So I'm totally confused at what the list is.
I feel like they're not following their own criteria. That's how I felt. I was like, okay, all right. So what do you think, Tiffany? I'm sorry, Tiff. If I call you Tiffany one more time, you can smack me from over there.
That's okay. It's weird because I was surprised to see Doom and World of Warcraft on the list. That's an interesting list for sure. I think the first half of it is pretty much like the go-to. You have to have those in your collection. Those are the ones we all know they're classics. We know they are. So I'm looking forward to when they do add The Sims and they do add Minecraft and they do add Pokemon. Those are classic games now. Pokemon came out forever ago, way before WoW. So why is that not on the list? They're still making new Pokemon games, and it's still a phenomenon. Minecraft is fairly new, but you can't deny what Minecraft has done. You just can't. So I think the list could be better. There are definitely other games out there that should be on it. Doom is, of course, always classic, but I don't know if it should be in a Hall of Fame. I love Doom. Don't get me wrong. Bethesda put that teaser of Doom out, and I'm like, yes, Doom. But I don't think it needs to be in Hall of Fame, but yeah, it's a goofy list, and I think it could be better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this is their criteria. This is what they said. Box, you gotta fit this box, but some of them fit some of those criteria, and some of them don't. So go ahead, Bill.
I think the thing is it's really hard to find games that fit 100% of the criteria at any given time. Tetris is the #1 most sold video game ever right now, to date. World of Warcraft.
Totally bought Tetris Ultimate.
I still play Tetris on my phone every freaking day.
I do.
Super Mario, everyone knows it. It's classic. A lot of people grew up with it. Doom is kind of iffy, but Pac-Man, of course, Pac-Man kind of has to be there. And honestly, I'm not surprised at World of Warcraft being in there. And the reason that I'm not is because I think World of Warcraft has taken video gaming online to kind of an extreme dimension. Let's look at the fact that they brought in psychologists to literally try to make the game as addictive as possible. This kind of thing actually happens.
Well, I think World of Warcraft fits because it does fit all the criteria. It has transcended games. Other games have, been based off of their IP. This thing has iconic and longevity. It's crossed the borders all over the world, and it's in pop culture. It's referenced in movies. So I think that one is, of all of them, besides Pac-Man.
I wouldn't call it a classic, though. I have a
It's
hard time
been
calling
around for-
World of Warcraft a classic.
It's getting there,
And
though.
not in comparison to the top 3, which we're
Yeah.
talking about, but I think that it's just one of those things where you can't deny it. And maybe they had to throw the MMO in there. They were like, oh, we have to have this category.
I mean, if you're looking at classic wise, I mean, for me, I feel like WoW is a classic PC game. Like
Agreed.
it kind of started that whole online like MMO world like craziness, and it had a huge following. I mean, it still does, even though it's like so insane. I feel like it's a classic PC game at this point. Like when we're if you start comparing to like consoles like Nintendo and stuff like that. Of course, some of these other games were played on PCs, but I feel like WoW fits it. I really do. It's
Unlike
been around
Final
for a long
Fantasy
time.
or other games like that, WoW, I think, is surpassed those. I mean, for me, I'm a PC MMOer, so I can see that this would fit in comparison to other IPs that have come and gone or have been remastered, remade, like you'd say with the consoles. It's not this business model has not changed. Other games, they try and they roll out all this and that and the other, but this game has just stayed true and tried to what it was started out to be.
It was either that or just one guy was like, no, WoW's on that list. And he wouldn't
Yeah.
vote against it. He's like, no, WoW's on
Yeah.
the list. And
'Cause
they're
I-
like,
I
all right,
do-
Bob, whatever. And they're like, no, WoW's on the list. And he's
I
like,
agree.
Stamp Bob.
I agree with Chat, though. I think EverQuest should have made it on there before World of Warcraft. I think that one was really the
I would
one
agree
that
with
paved
that.
the way.
Yeah.
I
I
would
think
agree with
that-
that.
Yeah.
I think
That opened the
take
doors
that
to MMOs.
I would agree with that because
But
EverQuest.
I also have a hard time listening to a list that's about classics and Mario, Pac-Man, Tetris, but where's Sonic? I know
Well,
Sonic wasn't as cool as Mario, but
Not.
still, he deserved it.
They don't necessarily use the word classic. That's Video Game Hall of Fame. So it's basically just like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You see a lot of people in there that are inducted that have a certain amount of record sales or have traveled all across the world and are very popular, but they're not geriatric or like Rolling Stones. I mean,
Right.
Grateful Dead, but we've got people in there that are, just iconic pop figures. But it's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out because this is just the first 6. So maybe some people are pretty pissed off or have some other,
We need
words
Zelda
to
up
say
on there.
about this criteria. And who the hell are the people, like you said, Bob? Who's Bob? Where's Bob's degree? Does Bob play games? Does Bob even
who are
play?
these people
Pac-Man?
deciding this?
I don't think he has. I don't think Bob's a gamer.
Damn it.
I think
just
he's
sits
played
there.
like maybe Angry Birds, but that's about it.
We need to bring Barbara in there and somebody else that we know. Just pick somebody that plays games so that we can figure out what's going on. So we'll keep an eye on that. We're about to wrap up the show. Usually what we do when we wrap up the show is we go to our shout outs, and shout outs are exactly that. You're going to give a shout out to whoever it is that you feel has gotten you where you are today, or maybe should be watching because they were picking on you when you were in kindergarten, and now you're like, look at me now, or your mom, or whomever, So I'm going to start with you, Rachel. Give your shout outs for tonight.
Definitely been a shout out for my mom and my dad, because obviously without them I wouldn't be here. But also without my mom and dad's support and them being who they are, I wouldn't be nerdy and geeky and collect action figures and play video games and do it for a living, because they were my full support. But also shout out to all the people that worked on The Witcher 3 for making my last few weeks the best few weeks since Dragon Age Inquisition. Thank you guys.
Ooh, that's
And that's it.
awesome shout outs. Pixie.
So shout outs to Oregon Trail for getting totally gypped on the list.
Yeah.
Sorry, bros.
And she drew a blank.
Yeah,
Your
that's
dual
really
partner.
That's really
No,
all I
you can't
care
even
about
say
right
your
now.
dual partner
No,
anymore.
because Icy sucks and it's going boo.
Oh man, you're gonna have to get a whole new show
Shout out-
closer.
Yeah, shout outs to Icy for ruining my life. I'm probably gonna cry myself to sleep tonight. I hope you feel bad about this, Turbine and Warner Brothers.
Hey, is that Domo behind you?
I have like Captain America bear, Batman bear, Bat Domo, all of the My Little Ponies.
I love a domo. I just happened to see on your
A
chair.
regular teddy bear.
Domo when your head moved. Yeah.
That's
There's a
Harley.
Sorry,
Batman. No,
distracted you.
I've got an actual Batman Domo all the way on the bed.
Nice.
And then I've got all my stuffed purses. Hello
One
Kitty,
of these times
Yoda.
when you're watching the show, don't be alarmed when Pixie comes on with just a whole bunch of stuffed animals. It's okay, guys.
I'm just gonna make clothes out of them.
Tiffany, your shout outs.
Shout outs this week, of course, will be my lovely fiance, Captain Redbeard, Mr. Chris Wiseman, because I had my art show this past weekend and he was very awesome and super supportive. And all of my friends that helped support me with that bought tickets to help me for my show. It was amazing and it really helped me out. And I was very excited. I know a couple of them are in the chat, so I'm very stoked that they keep following up and helping out. And of course, I want to shout out Geek Girl Brunch Dallas chapter. So if any ladies are watching and you would like to join us, we are actually doing our very first official brunch on Sunday. And we kind of already planned out the rest of the brunches for the year with the theme. So we're very excited about that. If you don't have, you're not in Dallas, there is a lot of chapters of the Geek Girl Brunch. And it's basically a bunch of like nerdy girls getting together and we have mimosas and brunch and talk about nerd stuff. And it's awesome. So you can just go to
find your peeps. Your peeps are here.
It's awesome. It's so great. So wherever you're traveling around, just search it up. Usually tickets are pretty cheap. Depending on what town you go to, they have different price ranges and different stuff. But it's really fun. And usually like our one of our other officers, Danita, oh my God, she picks like the best places for brunch. We've had 2 pre-launch brunches and I've never been there before and they are amazing. So it's pretty cool. You get to meet other nerdy chicks, you get to hang out, and I've made some great friends through it, so I'm very excited. And that's my shout out to them. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and piggyback off of your brunch because the Cleveland Cavaliers, you can't see my shirt, but playoffs. In the CLE, we do have our own chapter out here. So kudos and shout outs to my girls out here in my local chapter. And if you do not know where your local chapter is, all you got to do is go to the interwebs, look them up on social media, and I'm pretty sure you can find some ladies in your area. So you can go to brunch and feel welcome, not excluded, but included. So my shout outs go to Rachel for joining us. Thank you again for coming and joining us on the show. You're welcome back anytime. Just hit us up on the social media or the email. And come on back, join the table. We do guest hosts. I said do. Yes, I did. We have guest hosts that pop in randomly because they feel like it's fun and they want to come back. So you're more than welcome to come back.
Definitely would love that. Yes.
We will be relaunching the website soon, guys. I am working as fast as my little fingers can go. Remember, I do work a full-time job and I do have a minion that is teenage nightmare. Just like the Daydream, you know what I'm saying? And she is, let's just say she's my spawn. That's all you need to know. Got my hands with that one.
Right behind me, trust me.
So, website's going to be up and kicking, and you'll be able to see all the great new things and check out all the stuff we got our hands into, all the charities that we're working with, all the conventions that we're going to be at, and where you can meet and greet and, hug us and touch us, not inappropriately groping, but take some pictures and, hang out. And I'd like to give a shout out to our team, our robotics team that we are affiliated with. I coach and we sponsor. Think outside the box. You guys keep on prepping for Indie PopCon. You're going to be great. I know you're going to be nervous, but you guys are going to be awesome. You're going to go out there and do your thing and meet some of your YouTubers and some cosplayers out there that these kids are already so excited that they've thrown up twice. Thanks, Ian, even though you can't hear us, we're going to be ending the show shortly. And all you people in chat, thank you for coming. Please join us next Friday, same bat time, same bat channel, episode 63, Ladies of the Roundtable. Our guest information will be in the channel by Sunday. So keep your eyes peeled, and we'll be tweeting that on social media. Follow us at our social media and all of our other places. And Tiffany, welcome to the table.
Thank you.
Holly will be back next week. And we're going to roll those beautiful credits. I think we have to prompt Ian so somebody could type because his headset is down. thank you guys for joining us. And ladies, dance it out. Do your thing. Shake it, dance it out. Come on, Tiffany.
I'm gonna learn to dance through this.
Yeah, you're gonna
like,
dance.
next couple
Just dance
days.
and boogie down in your chair. Wave your arms like you just don't care. I don't know. Yeah, there you go. Jazz hands. Woohoo! That was good dancing moves. Awesome. See you guys next week. Ian's rolling it out. We're still live.
Okay, good.
There we go.
Okay,
Awesome.
I'm so glad that I was muted. There was